All right. Hello, I'm Jessica Wagline. I'm in Micah's communications office, and we are doing an expanded juxtapositions for the January-February 2014 issue. I'm here with Deana Haggag. She is a 2013 alumna from our curatorial practice program, and she's the new director of The Contemporary, a relaunched nomadic museum in Baltimore. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
For those of you who are familiar with The Contemporary, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. The Contemporary was founded in 1989 by George Sissel, who is now the director of the curatorial practice program where I graduated. He's also the curator in residence here at MICA. So when he had founded it in 1989, it operated nomadically for about 10 years, and they did exhibitions in collaboration with other institutions like the Maryland Historical Society, the BMA. And then in about 99, they moved into 100 West Center Street in Mount Vernon, right next door to the Walters, and operated out of that building for about a decade. And in 2012, the Board of Trustees decided to take the museum on hiatus to sort of reestablish what their values were, what their mission was, and sort of how they could be a more potent and responsive institution for the city.
So how did you get involved with The Contemporary?
That is a great question. Karen Stultz, who is the director of community engagement here at MICA, and someone I pretty much owe my entire career to. So my last semester here, I actually worked very closely with the board and with Karen specifically to collect a lot of data. They were wondering at that point if they should reopen the museum, what it needed to look like, what its place was. So I did a two-part study, the first of which was to sort of scan every cultural institution in town. And we made a huge database. You know, who were they? What were their missions? What were their operating budgets? Who was on their staff? And we tried to see where the holes were and what was actually needed. And out of that research, we sort of determined that a nomadic, nimble, responsive organization, there is a place for that here. So then we did an entire database of similar organizations nationally. And we looked at nomadic organizations nationally, again, who was on their staff, what were their budgets, how did they do the work that they did. And from that, we were able to get a basic business plan out, rebrand our mission, and we just had a lot of conversations, a lot of deep listening. So I did that my last semester in grad school.
So can you maybe step back and tell us a little bit about how you entered into this field? What's your background?
I received a BA in art history and philosophy from Rutgers University, and I took a few years off before applying to grad school. And I like George's approach to audience engagement, and I hadn't really found that anywhere else. So, and I honestly also just love the challenge of it being a new program and sort of almost like having no lifeguard or grown up on duty, you know? So that was really appealing for me. And I got a lot of really practical skills here. And that was sort of important. It was something I was missing. Also, the program is built to be super collaborative. And I was not very good at that when I got here. So that, I think, was really great for me to sort of have to learn to work on a team with 9 other people, to have to constantly be in communication with a larger sort of staff. And so MICA definitely sort of prepared me for this real world. And another thing is I think this program, I think curating the field has changed so much, and the economics of the arts have just shifted so drastically that nobody's hiring, or I would say I think it would be very hard in the jobs where you could simply curate are so limited. And I feel like I came out of this program with an expertise in a lot of different things.
So you talked a little bit about the values of The Contemporary.
Yeah.
What is your vision going forward? How are you going to take that and take it to the next step?
I really do look to The Contemporary as being a place of job creation and potentially sort of adjusting the economics of the local art scene here. But also I want to create more sustainable relationships with artists, curators, critics that are working nationally and internationally, and I think Baltimore has so many incredible things happening in it, and I sort of want to project that onto a larger stage.
Can you talk a little bit about the other MICA connections that are currently involved with The Contemporary?
Sure. Karen Stultz, as I mentioned earlier, who's the director of community engagement, is on our board, as is Ray Allen, who is the provost and vice president for academic affairs. Both are wonderful, and we're there right from the get-go. Since I've been on, we've also invited Jeffrey Cudland, who is works with the curatorial studies undergraduates, but is also a professor in my program, and I had studied under him. Joyce Lee is an artist, but an adjunct professor here also, and she's wonderful, and they are on the board.
Thank you for talking with us today, Deana. I think we learned a lot about The Contemporary, and for more information and updates on their programs, please go to fyi.mica.edu. That is where our expanded juxtapositions live, and thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.